This era is the era of unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself. Discard the discarding itself. It is not the era of sitting to guard the looker and the seer of oneself. That's not the way. It is unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself. It is not to sit and stand guarding the seer, the knower of oneself, on and on. That is guarding one's own stuff, on and on. This is the era of cutting the deluded knowing, cutting the cutting itself, unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself already, discarding the discarding itself. This is the era of the liberation doesn't grasp for itself, blossoming out of the blossoming state. It is instantaneity, cutting deluded knowing instantaneously. Or anyone want to preserve the old stuff, the old era, sitting and standing and guarding one's own stuff. The looker of oneself, the seer of oneself, the knower of oneself, guarding it. Have you asked it if it wants itself, if it wants you, only you, wherever it's from, wants the knower, the seer, the looker? Does the knower take you? Have you ever asked if it wants you? There is only you that takes it. This is the message that is given for samsara. Is the looker wants you? Have you ever asked it? The knower and the seer, the looker, are the elements that doesn't grasp for itself, not attached to itself. Only the grasping mind that is delusively misleading itself. This message is to leave it for samsara, not for anyone particularly. It is for samsara, and samsara will end being samsara. Everything doesn't grasp for itself, not grasping even for the non-grasping itself. That which has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping, opinions and meanings that fabricate grasping and not grasping. This is the desire that is deceiving the opinions and meanings. You are choosing it. Have you ever asked that it chooses you or not? Always saying to each other that you have to choose. Have you ever asked that which you choose, that it chooses you or not? Or you just delusively choosing it only by yourself? This is to leave it for samsara, not for anyone particularly. They always saying, choosing sides, choosing groups, this and that. Even yourself, you can't take it. Who is it going to take you? So much choosing. Even yourself, you don't even know wherever in yourself to choose, to take. You don't even know which part of yourself that you can take from. Even yourself cannot take yourself. How can there is any choosing here? If you choose, ask what you choose that it wants you. Even yourself cannot take yourself. How can you choose anything? That means that within yourself you cannot take it at all. Why choosing and looking for something to choose? Ask it if it wants you, if it wants to be chosen. This is the desire that is misleading the opinions on and on. Even you yourself cannot take anything within yourself. How can you choose anything? Everything is being enlightened to. Everything is anatta and anicca and dukkha. It's not something that can be attached within itself. It's not attached to itself, within itself. Directly giving enlightenment. Don't be obsessed with the sleeping opinions like this, like that. Samsara has to listen to something like this. Being directed, nothing is left from being direct. That can be concluded with the essence of the enlightenment. We are talking in a way that having nothing to do with loving or hatred, without enmity, enemies, or friendship, ending directly for each other. Talking in a way that having nothing to do with teachers and students, because if they are still teachers and students, this is the burden. That is no enlightenment there. Let's end all this guru-disciple stuff, ending all burdens. Later on, it will be the essence of the great compassion, cutting through deluded knowing for samsara, for every period of time. Not only about humans or non-humans, or the cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death. We can always form up the great compassion at all times. In Nibbana, there is no such thing as grasping or not grasping. Let's make a conclusion like this to purify everything. Like there is no such thing as being deluded or not in Nibbana, because being deluded or not is just a form up of opinions. No such thing as attachment or non-attachment. Whenever you say non-attached, that is the opinions about non-attachment. It is already an attachment to the non-attachment. This will give ending to all about opinions in all matters. The path is derived from opinions and meanings. Let's proceed with the great compassion with everything.